Hey Sagittarius, Ali from Indigo Ascension. Welcome to your weekly quick read for the week beginning October the 25th. Now, there's so much to cover, it's hard to determine what is the best thing to cover, but I have suggested to all of the zodiacs to take a look back at the last few weeks worth of readings. Okay, you may or may not remember a few weeks ago I was raving about this new moon in Scorpio when in fact it was a new moon in Libra, and perhaps there's something in that. Next week I'll cover the new moon in Scorpio, so there's this 4-week window, and it makes sense. This Libra Scorpio mashup tells a much bigger story. You know, in this time we've had closing of some major retrogrades, we've had a balancing thanks to Libra, which is the karmic balance. It is divine balance. We become distinctly aware of what needs to be looked at, addressed, let go of, so that we can then move into Scorpio season and decide what needs to be transformed or actually work with transformation or regeneration energy. It's completely unique, okay? So some in the collective is still processing all of that balancing energy. Some are ready to embark on transformation and change. For you guys uniquely, Sagittarius, as the sun moves into Scorpio, and what I'm going to be covering in this week's quick reads is Mars in Scorpio. Not long after is going to be Mercury in Scorpio. So all this scorpionic energy is really lighting up your 12th house, which is the house of your subconscious, the other part of self. When Mars is in there, when Mercury is in there, when the sun is in there, there's going to be this very big drive, perhaps, for many Sagittarians to really hermit, to go within, to connect with the subconscious. You may notice an increase in dream state, downloads, an influx in intuition, but you're perhaps not going to want to share it so much. It's not necessarily a vocal house. It's more of an information gathering kind of space to be in. It's also a great space to be in to really clear up the dross. You know, the 12th house really is the house of our own undoing. We get to work with the subconscious, the triggers, the inner core beliefs that we have that we may not be aware of, and that is the gift of all of the retrogrades. And when we get to this part of the year, when Saturn, Jupiter, and they start to go direct, it really tells a bigger story about what the purpose, you know, of all these aspects and transitions, and you know what they were all trying to offer us. So there's something in this for you guys, and it makes sense. Okay, every Scorpio season's always going to be 12th house energy for you guys, but it's almost like double down, triple down time, because you also have Mars and Mercury in Scorpio as well. So before we reach our sun sign rotation, before it's our birthday season again, the month prior, we'll always activate 12th house stuff, and it's a great reflective time to really get practical about what I'd like to achieve for the next year ahead when my birthday season sparks up again, and what has this year taught me. Did I achieve everything I've wanted to? You know, you can really go as deep or as surface level as you like, but you guys are most certainly activating 12th house. Now, a little bit about this archetype of Scorpio, especially when it comes to Mars in Scorpio. That's going to be around for the next 6 weeks, so the collective are going to be intrinsically aware, okay? And empaths specifically will be probably perhaps notice they're more attuned to the emotional nature of others. You know, the archetype of Mars in Scorpio is the emotional seer. And it goes without saying, with that great power can potentially come great responsibility, but that is not always the case. If you think about it, if I genuinely have the ability to touch the most vulnerable part of another and be able to read into their, intuitively read into their emotional drives and intentions and fears and hopes and dreams, then there's always going to be that possibility of humanity coming in and making a choice at those crossroads. I could use that for good or ill. I've covered that more in the weekly Cosmic Compass, but it goes without saying that is the nature of our world, yeah? So that energy is going to exist out there, and becoming aware of, more importantly, how we can be deceptive to self. But Scorpio desires for us to really get intimate and not be afraid with the depth of our emotions, and perhaps to discover their true purpose too, Sagittarius, okay? A lot to it, but we also know our world has perhaps taught us to suppress and be afraid. So isn't it any wonder that when it comes to the balancing after Libra season and we hit Scorpio season head first, then this time around. There's not just the Sun, but Mars and Mercury in Scorpio. People are not going to feel okay. They're going to feel on edge. They're scared of really getting to the depths and really feeling vulnerable, okay? So we will notice that as empaths. But for you guys, you're probably going to want to step away from the fray. You're going to want to process 12th house energies and really sort of come home to self so that you can step out ready for your birthday season, alrighty? What I'd like to do for the quick reads this week is offer an intuitive reading. So take this moment to press pause, consciously connect in. Doesn't matter where we're at, because I know that, you know, all of these energies, whether it's that new moon energy from Libra last month or the upcoming new moon energy in Scorpio next month, the collective are really at their own journey. So how we're processing that astrological energy is going to be different. So I wanted to offer intuitive readings, okay? So take a moment to focus on your question, and perhaps the tarot cards can give you clarity, guidance, or confirmation. Underneath the deck is the 10 of Cups. There's a big family focus here. Perhaps there's this effervescent question of what emotional satisfaction truly means for me. What a great energy to really work with and process this wisdom classroom, especially as we enter Scorpio season, which lights up your 12th house, and it really encourages us to get to the depths and get to the depths of our subconscious. And then Mars joins the party along with Mercury, and there's all this focus in your 12th house, Saggy. What is emotional satisfaction? Okay, what does it mean to feel confident about who I am and truly embrace my Sagittarian fire as symbolized by the Queen of Wands? Maybe there are elements of commitment and what I want to build and grow for self, okay, for many of you, all right? After a time of grief, after a time of focusing and processing loss, perhaps there's been a much bigger story. This 12th house energy is going to be amazing for you guys to really sort of close up loose ends in that regard, okay? Let's take a look in the recent past, my friend. Is the Magician. Above this is the Ace of Pentacles. Below this is the 3 of Wands. What is ahead is the 4 of Swords. Interesting. Maybe you guys had activated some amazing new beginnings, or really ummed and ahed about this creative concept that can be birthed, this creating a new commitment, creating a new venture, creating a new partnership, okay? Creating a whole new experience. Now, I remember during Libra season as well, there was a couple of significant second house placements for you guys as well. A lot of connectivity with local communities and local travel, and, you know, self-resourcefulness was being covered. A lot of second house stuff, okay? And this represents the recent past. What does it mean to manifest my ideal? Okay, so that's the Magician, that's your Ace of Pentacles, and that can apply to anything, all right? And then I see here, there is a turning away and equally a retreat. Isn't that interesting? The 3 of Wands is waiting for my ships to come in. So perhaps I'm connecting to many Saggies that have begun something, ummed and ahed about something, really nutted, you know, crossed their I's, dotted their T's. But then there's this retreat period for the next 6 weeks. Now, what I want to say about that, and it can feel almost frustrating, I get when this cha-cha happens. We get this surge of energy, this boost of drive and enthusiasm, and then boom, what's going on? Nothing's going on wrong in my life. There's nothing to complain about, but I'm just feeling a need to retract. What if that highest version and vision of yourself that you are trying to manifest can only happen if we truly are willing to let go that which gets in the way, the baggage and the parts of self that no longer vibrate, or that cannot vibrate to that level. The reason I say that is because it's interesting that the 4 of Swords is here. There's a retreat here, and that's exactly what the 12th of house activates. It activates this desire to hermit, this desire to go within. So if you feel like something is stalled, a creative project, a business idea, a pathway you will want, it's actually like, it's that, if that feels frustrating, and it will always feel frustrating to the human because we run on Gregorian time and universal time and cosmic time's nothing like that. just remember the sense of timelessness, and to do one thing properly, okay, is the goal perhaps here. And to work then with 12th house energies and really get to the core, especially with all this scorpionic energy, and to dive deep at the core and truly define why I'm doing it and what does emotional fulfillment truly mean for me, this version of me. Yeah, because you have grown, you have evolved. You know, this version of you last year, 2 years ago, 3 years ago, there's massive growth always. Yeah, and maybe there's a new version of you trying to be born Saggy, okay, that wants to emerge. And to get to that vision you're trying to manifest, or that greater goal, it's actually going to require something you've perhaps never invested before, you've never put forward before. It's going to require a different version of you, and this time back into the chamber is really going to help you identify what. But I also want to say, for many other Sagittarians there, the next 3 weeks are critical to plan the next 4 years. Random. Alrighty, that was your quick read, Saggy. Hope you got something out of that. If you would like to book a personal reading with me, I have launched them on the website. Until next week, my friend, have an empowered week and take care.